your personal brand on Instagram? It's key to both brand awareness and your online presence. And of course, a major factor of social media marketing on how to make money online. In this video, we're discussing 5 ways to build your personal brand on Instagram. Join us as we share personal branding tips to help you grow on Instagram, improve your visual branding, and increase audience engagement. We're answering what is a personal brand, why is it important, and yes, what are 5 ways how to build a personal brand on Instagram. So let's get into it today as we help you step your gram up on the latest episode of the Social Roundtable. Welcome, everybody, to our latest episode. Once again, we are having a lot of fun lately with some of our most interesting guests joining us as we are talking about some of the best topics that you guys have even asked for yourselves and things that we figure that you might want to learn a little bit about as well. And today's no different. We're talking about personal brand on Instagram. And as always, I am Heston of Social Varsity. I hope that you guys are ready for another exciting conversation today with myself and, of course, my co-host, who's always here with me, Megan. Megan, what's going on with you today?
Hello, hello. I'm excited to be here. Very, very pumped for this topic and for our incredible guests. Um, Real quick, if you guys don't know me, my name is Meg from Social Media with Meg, and I help content creators and entrepreneurs grow and scale their business, their brands online through their content, and really help make social media a place that they enjoy being instead of that headache that we all have come to find when it comes to how to grow and how to find that engagement. So we are here to make it fun and help you have real success. And we are so excited to be joined by Jira Bean today. She is an expert in the world of social media, content creation, personal branding. She's known for helping different content creators build that bold, authentic brand that stands out and converts. So everybody give a warm welcome to Jira. And if you will take a second, just anything we left out there, introduce yourself and say hi to the audience.
Well, amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you both. I'm like so stoked to get into this conversation as well. It's going to be a really good one. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. You hit the nail on the head. So I'm Jara Bean. I'm a social media coach, educator, speaker, content creator. Content creation is actually how I got my start back in 2015, a whole decade ago now. What? And I primarily help people use social media as a tool to support their business, their goals, and also really leverage their personality, their point of view, their perspective to create a personal brand that converts into really awesome opportunities.
Love it. And we are so glad that you are joining us here today as our special guest. And also, if you guys are not aware, we also have somebody you may not see on the screen, but it's very important to our show as well. We are talking about our amazing moderator, Angela. She is in the live chat with you guys, and we hope that you guys are enjoying and get very lively and engaging in our live chat today. She will be there moderating, but we already have a question right now that is there, the poll question. I'm hoping that you guys have an opportunity to check it out, whether you're watching the live, us live right now, or catching the replay. The question is there for you. The poll is simply, um, do you think everyone should have a personal brand? I've actually asked this question a couple of days ago on YouTube. I'm going to share those results in a little bit as well as we get into our main topic. We're talking today, for those that are just not joining, once again, 5 ways to build on Instagram your personal brand. For those that are new to the show, let me tell you how this is going to work out. I have a couple of questions that I'm going to pose to our special guest and my co host today, as well as we will save a little bit of time for you guys to have your questions answered as well. Whether it's about personal branding, Instagram, or social media in general, this is your opportunity to submit your questions, which we will let you know during the show of what you might want answered if it relates directly to you or something even more in general. And in between that, the conversation and the Q&A, we do play a little game that Megan is going to lead us with that you will be able to jump in and get engaged as well. So you will have an opportunity to share your answers with us. There's no right or wrong answers. We'll talk a little bit more about that trivia game later as we get into it. But right now, we're going to get into our conversation all about personal branding. Ladies, are you ready for this topic?
Let's go.
Ready.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we are going to lead off with my first question. And I'm going to kind of share and start it off with a quote that I received here that I found through my research. It's from somebody you may know. He's an author, marketing expert, and entrepreneur that goes by the name of Seth Godin. Um, people, let me start off. The quote is: people do not buy goods and services, they buy relations, stories, and magic. And I love the way that he put this quote together in regards to the idea of personal branding. It's a great concept when we look at some of today's biggest Hollywood actors, the most popular musicians. When you think of like Beyonce and some of these rappers and pop stars, even some of the ones from back in my day. I'm not even going to date myself with some of the musicians that I was about to name because you're going to be like, whoa. But some of these people that we think of, we know them whether it's their full name or even on a first name basis. Some of them we don't even know their last name because they only go by first name. These are some incredible individuals that have really built and established personal brands, and it stands to tell you how strong those brands are when you start seeing them place it in everywhere, including social media. We're going to be talking mostly about Instagram today, but maybe we need to break it down a little bit even further to kind of just explain what a personal brand is. So I'm going to ask my first question to you, Jera. Simply, if you could please define in your own words, what is a personal brand?
Yeah, such a good question to start off with, but also like such a big one as well. But like, let's get into it. So, first and foremost, a personal brand. I think it's so important because in this current day and age, there are other people out there doing what you do in the same industry as you, perhaps even selling things that are similar to you. So, your personal brand is that key to standing out in what might be saturation or a sea of sameness. So the significance is really there. I think when it comes to a personal brand, you hear a lot of things that feel like very intangible to me, if I'm being honest. Like it's your reputation, it's the vibe people get when they think about you, it's how you're perceived. And like, sure, maybe I agree with all this, but I think that makes it really challenging to understand what a personal brand is because you can't really like grasp it. So when I think of a personal brand, I want to make it as tangible as possible. So if I were to make it tangible as possible, the first thing to start off with is it is really like this multi-dimensional thing. But how do we put labels to those multi-facets and multi-dimensions? So first and foremost, there's all these different components. I think one really, all of them are actually very important. But one of the ones I want to start off with, which is quite foundational, is essentially like your expertise and what you specialize in. So it is your niche, your business, your industry, your expertise. Then second, I would say it is your positioning. And when it comes to your positioning, I see three elements within that. So it's your differentiation. So yes, you might be doing something, you might have your expertise, you might have an industry, but what is making you distinct from someone else who might be doing something similar to you? And then within that, within positioning, there's relevance. So, how are you addressing your ideal client's problems? How are you helping them achieve certain outcomes? What's the transformation that you guide people to? And then, lastly, within positioning, there's credibility. So, what's like the evidence or the experience or the stuff you have to like really back up what you do? And sometimes, it takes a little time. So, personal branding does take time, and so
Oh
that
yeah.
credibility can take time to build up. And then the third really important part is your authenticity. So it's kind of, a little bit of a buzzword these days, but I like to make that tangible as well. And I
Yeah.
really see authenticity as all these components of you. So it's your past, it's the experiences that have made you who you are today, the challenges, the achievements, the pivots, those really pillar moments throughout your life that have led up to this present moment. But it's also the present too, who you are, your hobbies, who you are outside of work, your family, your friends, what you enjoy doing, your values, the lighthearted part of that as well, like the silly, the goofy, the mundane and everyday in between moments. And then there's the professional side of that as well, like your distinct perspective and point of view and philosophy in what you do. So I think the magic of personal branding happens when those three work together. We have your expertise, which is sort of the what and like the raw material and that foundation. The positioning is a little bit more of like the how and the why. And then your authenticity is like the glue that really binds that all together. So that's how it always changes a little bit, but that's how I'm currently defining a personal brand.
I love that breakdown. First off, I probably would have just been in Webster Dictionary and came up with some really generic definition of it. But I
No.
love the way that you kind of broke that down. Like, and I think you could actually even like package it because I'm thinking like that's the EPA
Yeah.
expertise. What was the positioning and then authority? Not authority, right?
Authenticity, but authorities within that. So yeah,
Authenticity.
absolutely.
Authenticity, yes. And I think that you're absolutely right. There is a magic in between all three because I feel like you might have one, you might showcase one more than the other,
Mm-hmm.
but you definitely need all three to a certain degree. I love the way that you broke it down. Now, a lot of the people wondering right now that are listening to us is like, okay, I kind of got an idea of what personal branding is, but why is it even important to me, especially on Instagram? So I want to ask this next question to you, Megan, and it follows right up after what we just asked Jera. Why is a personal brand important, particularly from the landscape of Instagram?
Yeah, well, that definitely was an incredible definition here. Hopefully, everyone got a little bit more insight into what it really means. Because I almost feel like personal brand is like a buzz thing right now, right? Like everyone's talking about it. So, thank you so much for that. And as Shira started out explaining, that it's really that thing that makes you stand out, right? We can all agree that social media is super crowded these days. Everybody's on social media, whether they are showing up and posting
Mhm.
consistently or not. There's so many users, especially on Instagram. And so if you're looking to stand out and be that person that when somebody opens up the app, they search for you first. They look for your story first. They want to
Yeah.
see and engage with your content first. You've got to have that personal brand that connects with them in some way. And that's going to be through exactly what Jared just explained there. And really finding a way to be that little spark that's different. And it really is all the little things, right? You don't have to be extreme in anything to stand out. It's going to be the small quirks, it's going to be the small little parts of your personality, parts of your opinions. And the importance really is to have that standout brand, what makes you you. And then also, people buy from people and people connect with people. So, especially in today's world with AI and all kinds of automated systems and tools, it's extremely important to make sure that the people who are following you feel like you're really there and feel like they're following a person, which you'll see even brands like a soda brand, I don't know, they still make their brand personal somehow. They bring in characters and connect in a certain way. So having that connection is extremely important. And it's going to also, on the creator side, like what's the benefit to you? Right off the bat, is that it's going to make your content creation so much easier because you're authentic to you. You get to be you. You don't have to be perfect. And two, you're going to have more of a like repeat cycle of what you're posting about, right? It's not having to come up with new things all of the time. You have stuff that is going to connect with your audience and fits your niche, your brand, your voice, and your messaging. So there's so many different benefits and really why it's important, but those are some of the top ones that really stand out and important for, if you're thinking about starting or going all in and really putting that emphasis on growing your personal brand. Those are some things to really look forward to when you're creating your strategy.
Great breakdown of what an actual personal brand is and why it's even more important probably now today than ever before, as you mentioned with the introduction of AI. I think it's something that we are really going to have to focus on with now that, I mean, we've heard it before on Instagram. They're coming out with these personas that are, based with AI, and it's like, how are we going to stand out against that? And I think, as you said, Megan, it's even more important nowadays to do that because the audience wants more of us, whether it's something major or flamboyant or even the small things. It could be something that you don't even say specifically, but something that they might pick up from you. It might be the way that you talk, the colors that you wear. It might be the brand logo that you are wearing. They pick up these small things that you do every day and consecutively. So I definitely agree with what you're sharing in regards to that. If you I'm curious if you have a question, particularly for our viewing audience. Is there something you want
Yeah,
to ask them that we
for
like to
sure.
do with our audience, Trevor, in regards to this topic?
Sorry, say that again.
Do-
Is there a question that I want to ask the audience?
Oh no, I'm sorry. In regards to Megan, we're gonna take it to the audience right now. We like
Oh,
to every now and again we throw in the question for the audience to kind of
got
get
it.
an idea and jump in and with the
I want to know
conversation as
Jared's
well.
answer though.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, curious. So everyone in the audience, as well as you guys here, Jared and Heston, curious from you guys, who is a personal brand or a creator who maybe you don't look at them as a personal brand, but somebody that you love to follow? Like when you open up your app, who are you searching for and excited to see? Just one or two.
Oh, that's
I
such a
know
good
that's hard.
question. Should I go first?
Yeah, if you're ready.
Okay.
Please do.
Oh, I feel like it's so hard because it's like there's so many people, and then like as soon as you ask, like your mind goes blank. Okay. Let me see if I can come up with a few people. So I'm gonna like gush on her for a second. I was just on a podcast recently, and they're like, "Who's your like entrepreneur crush?" So I'm gonna use that because she's top of mind. Kaylee of Reveal Studio. She is a copywriter and so much more. She's like to me a business guru, even though she doesn't consider herself a business coach. And I think she's just the epitome of a really strong personal brand. Like going back to what I said around expertise, positioning, authenticity, she hits the nail on the head with all three. And so I like buy her products and like hire her for strategy
Mm,
sessions, but I also genuinely enjoy following her. Someone else that comes to mind who's a little bit more of a content creator versus a service-based business, because both content creators and service-based businesses, essentially, if you are the face of your brand, you should have a personal brand. Is April Lockhart, and she is just she shares fashion and her travels and like lifestyle, but she also has a limb difference, and so a lot of her values and things that she shares comes from her disability and sharing that very proudly and creating community around
okay.
that. And I just think she just has such a strong voice and so much like positivity that she shares, in addition to like, loving her outfits and her travel as well. That depth there is something that I really respect and look forward to watching.
Awesome. Thank you. I love the versatility there. That's
Yeah.
really great. I love Kaylee too. She's so
She's
great.
the best. Don't you
I
like
know.
honestly, she's the best. Like I need
Yeah,
just to have her in Austin so I can be friends with her in real life.
exactly. Heston, what would you say?
um, there's actually two people that come to mind. One is actually it's pretty interesting that we're talking about this topic of personal branding because he kind of specializes in that, and that's Chris Doe. I love the way that he kind of just like puts himself out there and represents, the creator, but in regards from a personal branding point of view, and during my research of this topic, he was always on top of mind because to me, he's one of the best that kind of does it in this industry. And he has lots and lots of lessons that he's always given for free. And it's just the way he does it is just really, really amazing to me. So I will say Chris Doe. I'm gonna I have a second one, but I'm gonna completely switch industry. I'm gonna go to fitness, and there's this guy that I used to follow. I should say used to, I still do on my personal account, Simeon Panda. He came from, I think he was in England, if I remember correctly, and he's now moved to the States. And just kind of when I was like really into the whole bodybuilding aspect of my own fitness journey, to see what he was able to do, from like a nobody in a way to what he's been able to build now. And it's like he's built his own fitness empire, but he was a personal brand, beyond the competitions that he used to enter. His name became synonymous with fitness and working out. And, he had this concept of just lift. I think it became the name of his brand as well. So I see a lot of fitness influencers are very key in regards to the same idea of building a personal brand around them and then tying it to other brands, whether it's like the Nike and the Reebok and, some of these other more popular brands that we know. But yeah, those are two people that come to mind. Great question, Megan.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. I can't actually see the chat right now. It hasn't been loading for me, so I'm not sure. I'm not ignoring. I don't know if Heston, you can see any, just in case I'm missing things, just shout it out. So
But we have a
thank
few
you.
people just now still joining in, so they may have missed the question. But for once again, if you don't mind repeating the question, not just for those that are in the live, but if you're watching the replay, please feel free to actually comment your answer to this question as well, because we do like our engagement even after this live airs. So if you could just repeat the question one more time, and then we'll move over to our next question.
Yes, of course. So if you want to share, because we all like to follow people that bring joy and excitement to our feeds and our interests. So share in the comments who you love to follow, who has a very strong personal brand. And if you want to, share why you like it. That's awesome too.
Awesome. Well, as we're talking about personal brands, we kind of defined it. We know why it's so important. But now let's move over to the heart of the conversation of how to actually improve our own personal brands. And we're going to be sharing a few strategies with you guys in regards to how to do this. But before we get to that, just a couple of reminders. Once again, this is the Social Roundtable that you are watching, our weekly live series here on YouTube, where myself and Megan host different individuals every week, some of your favorite creators. They join us on the Social Roundtable to discuss some of the most important topics to you. And today we are joined by Jared Bean to discuss all about personal brand. If you're interested for more content like this, please hit that like button so that other people can find it, as well as hit the subscribe button so you could join us every week and not miss an entire episode at all. You'll be able to join us live, where you could talk to us in the live chat and engage in some of the conversation and the games that we'll be playing, like you'll probably see in a few moments. So make sure you join our community, subscribe, hit the like button, and also in the description, you can also find the links to everybody that is featured in this live, including our moderator Angela. So you will find the links to our Instagram and respective YouTubes for all of us, including our special guest Jera. So please make sure you want to join not just my community here via the channel, but theirs as well. Clicking those links, okay? So, and make sure you tell them where you're following from, that you saw them on this episode of the Social Roundtable. I think that is the rest of my spiel for now. I'll remind you guys later on, probably after the next question. But let's get into the main question. I'm going to ask this to you first, Jera, in regards to our main topic today. Because personal branding, like I kind of said at the top, personal branding is key to both awareness and your online presence. It helps establish your unique identity that can portray your expertise and become a major factor of your social media marketing. In other words, it's going to help you make some money online. So let's see if we can share a few steps in regards to how to actually build a personal brand on Instagram. We're going to go around in a roundtable format. You guys know the deal. We're going to start off with our guest, Jera. So if you have your first tip that you would like to share with the audience, please go ahead and speak on that one.
Sure. It's so hard to nail it down because I feel like there's a million things I would want to share, and some of them are more like tactical, some are more mindset and all the things. But I feel like a good place, no matter what you're talking about or trying to figure out, to begin is like a moment of like self-reflection and kind of going inwards before just charging out and taking action. And so I was thinking that some prompts for self-reflection for your personal brand, and there's a million of them, but three important ones would be: what do you want to be known for? What makes your approach different? And where are you holding back? And Megan, I love what you said around when you were answering your first question, that, your personal brand, it can be the big element. It can also be like the little elements. And so even though these questions sound kind of big, like, what do you want to be known for? Like, yeah, that's a big question. And I do encourage everyone to reflect on that, like in a big way. It's not something you might be able to answer right away. It might not be something that is set in stone and forever. Like, all of this is flexible. But at the same time, like, what do you want to be known for? Sure, it's the big stuff, but like it is also the everyday, and something that I've really connected with my audience and like built over the last 10 years are these more mundane, silly moments, everyday moments. It's also the moments and the things that sometimes a lot of my clients or students or just conversations that I have, people would be like, well, why would anyone care about that? Why would anyone, for example, I shared me eating Nutella out of a jar yesterday. The amount of responses I got, I love Nutella. Have you tried this pistachio dip? This one girl shared this spoon she had engraved by her mom. It said, like, I forget her name now, but like Jessica's spoon for Nutella. Like the amount of like connection that these seemingly smaller moments can open up can sometimes like be just as significant as sort of the weightier questions of what do I want to be known for, how is my approach different, etc. So I invite people to really think about both ends of the spectrum there, because ultimately it creates these pathways of connection, and those pathways of connection are crucial for building a personal brand. So thinking of that spectrum and then asking yourself, like, where are you holding back with the bigger stuff, the values, like what you believe in and are working towards and want to create, but also in the day-to-day moments as well.
Sometimes we always have to remember that, because sometimes we're so focused on the bigger moments.
Yeah,
We have to make sure we have to show the pop. But sometimes people like to see what led to that pop. What
yeah,
led you to that moment. And I'm glad that you said that. Even if it's just with a little spoonful of Nutella, you never know what might happen.
exactly. We all love Nutella. We can all connect about that.
I feel like food is always one that I get so many responses about.
For sure. Same.
Oh man, I'm missing out. I need to start sharing more of my lunch. I might have to do this after this live.
Yeah, I'm gonna check your story. It better be there.
You got an action step for today, post roundtable.
That's right. People will like make fun of social media, be like, remember when you used to like post your lunch? And it's like, no, but actually people still do care about, it's
That's
not like
true.
every day, but like, it's the
Yeah,
funny random things you connect on. Yep.
totally.
Yeah. Well, how about you, Megan, in regards to this question? Once again, I'll ask this question. I would love to hear what your next and first response is to this. What's one way how to build a personal brand on Instagram?
All right. Well, I kind of went with both kind of like unique mindset and then also more of actionable. So I'll go with actionable here first. And that is to start sharing your perspective and opinions and like hot takes, unique views, your values, and showing up confidently with those. And that means, say you are in like the beauty industry. You're not just sharing what's trending right now, what's hot right now, what's flying off the shelves on TikTok, right? You're sharing, maybe it's like this old school product that you've always loved and it's like your goat product, you're always going to use that. That's people are going to know you for that and they're going to respect that you're sharing this one that's maybe less popular and probably cheaper and it's you, right? So that's not really like a hot take, right? That's beauty, but being able to say that you disagree with other big tips in your industry, or maybe just sharing how, hey, X works for some people in my industry, but it doesn't really work for me, and this is what I do instead. So being able to confidently share your unique views, opinions, and values, and not in every single post, but making sure that you are showing up with them kind of on repeat when they connect with somebody else, because it's going to really, really help somebody who's in your audience who's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. It's like they have permission to also believe that or view it in a different light. So it definitely can help you stand out.
That's a great way to kind of add to the point of personal branding in regards to just speaking out and sharing your opinion, because on social media, you have those that are very free, that are ready to share whatever they want, but then you have those that are a little bit hesitant and they don't know if they should. And I like the way that you're talking about it. Use the keyword permission. It's like you're giving permission, not just for you to do it, but for others to, engage and connect with you on that same level. That's great.
Real quick, before I forget, I'm
Yeah.
not saying share literally everything of your opinions, right? Like if it has nothing to do with your niche and you're just sharing, like, please, come on, you understand.
I love
But
the
definitely,
disclaimer.
I feel like that's important because we don't, well, you're going to lose people if you are constantly sharing all these hot takes. But yes, definitely making sure it's connected to really you, your values, and your niche.
Yes. Yes. Very, very well said. And I love the reminder. Good job. there's that phrase, everything is content. And I'm on the side like, I don't know. I feel like we need to put an asterisk next to that. Oh, awesome. I'm gonna get into my tip. Just a little quick reminder for you guys. Once again, if you have just now joined into this live stream, you wonder what we are talking about. We are discussing 5 ways to build your personal brand on Instagram, and we are joined by the incredible Jared Bean, who is lovely and joining us today to discuss this very important topic of personal branding. We just discussed the first 2 tips in regards to how to actually build it on Instagram. If you missed that, not a problem. This live will be actually saved on my YouTube channel as soon as we end the live session. So you can always come back and check it out. But we have 3 more tips to share with you guys. And my first one is this. I didn't know exactly how to word it. So excuse the wording, but I'll break it down exactly what it means. Become a content diverse and engaged feature storyteller. And what I mean by that is pretty much we understand that storytelling is key on social media. Usually, I mean, we've been hearing this from, when we're back in the days in kindergarten and they're reading us books. And every book has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you there as a little kid, you can't wait to not just listen to the beginning of the book, but you want to hear the whole thing through. That concept applies to social media as well. People want to know the beginning, the middle, and the end, and you could craft it in different ways using different parts of Instagram. Like you could start the beginning of a story, perhaps on IG or maybe on a feed post, and then tell them I'm going to finish off whatever the next part is in my IG stories. And if you want to go even deeper, go check out my broadcast channel where I'm able to really get into the nitty gritty and even share voice notes. I think using some of these features that Instagram gives us, we could connect with our audience on a much deeper and reach them in different surfaces that they might not even be on, or sometimes they might just frequent on one or the other. We hear constantly that most of the attention span, most of the attention on Instagram is generally in the DMs and then IG stories. So maybe you might be missing some people on posts, but maybe if you start your story, you start piquing their interest with a reel or a carousel in your feed post, and then you tell them I'm going to add a little bit more to the story, or you share it to the IG stories and you connect it that way, and then you dive a little bit deeper into a broadcast channel. And if you want to go one on one, that's where the DMs come in. I think if we're able to like really connect with our audience, where as we're sharing, as both Megan and Jared stated, authentically, we're speaking from our own point of opinion, but being our true, authentic self, that we would be able to connect with individuals in different ways, no matter the surface on Instagram, whether that's the IG stories, which might lead to a DM, whether it's the IG reel or a live or a carousel that might lead to the comments. I feel like we're able to do this a little bit more and give more of ourself, that we would be able to connect with people in so many different ways in different areas on Instagram. And um, I want to share. I want to share this one comment, and it's funny because you asked me this question, and I mentioned the answer was Chris Doe. This quote comes from Chris Doe, and he said, "I write content and make videos for me. Everybody else is invited." And I love the way that he put that because he's thinking of himself first in a way to make sure that he's happy with what he puts out there. You can't put out stuff there and not be happy with it and think that you could be consistent with it. You're going to hit a wall sooner or later. But if you're able to put out what you're happy with and invite those that can connect with it and engage with it, the more that you do it from your own point of view, you're just building your personal brand and inviting others to join in and then share as well. So you're building your personal brand also. So I think from that point, once again, I'll repeat it, become a content diverse and engaged feature storyteller. I think that's a key way that we could utilize and build our personal brands on Instagram.
Yeah, I love that. I think you're right. It really is when you are able to bring stories into your content, it makes it more memorable. It makes it more relatable, and it's huge.
Yeah, and takes people
Yeah.
along for a journey. Everyone loves a journey.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And no matter the medium, no matter the
Yeah,
medium, but yes, we love that journey. We love the storytelling, especially if we can see ourselves in it, whereas the relatability aspect that Megan just stated.
totally.
So that's my one. Speaking of Megan, we're going to go back to you now, Megan, for your second tip in regards to this question on how to build a personal brand on Instagram.
I okay. So this one's kind of weird, but it's important for you to get back kind of what Jiro was saying, figuring out the prompts and journaling and really thinking about those inner things, but get back to knowing who you really are. Like, I feel like we live in this world where we consume so much content. And if you watch so much content, you're unconsciously likely to create something similar. So you see what other people are doing, what works for them, and you are constantly consuming it. You might start to do things that they do as well, which is okay. But it's important to not lose who you are. So make sure that you're showing your personality in your content. And one of the ways I like to do that is to write at the way that I speak. And so sometimes if I feel like I'm struggling and I'm sounding too robotic, I will voice message myself like what I want to say in my caption or what I want that message to be in my reel or whatever it might be. And just voice message it, just to kind of voice journal out what I'm trying to say in a way that sounds like me. And then from there, kind of edit it to something that makes more sense, more cohesive. And then also, like, something small is in my captions. I'm always saying, like, do you feel me on that? Like, am I the only one? Like, you're having a conversation. And just that's how I actually speak. I use the emojis that I love to use. Like, that if you check my text messages, I'm using similar emojis. And just making sure that you're allowing your little imperfections or quirks to still show up too. We don't want to be perfectly edited and polished, allowing some of those weird things about you to stand out is going to make you so relatable, so memorable, and really someone that people trust and want to buy from.
That human factor is key, I think. And looking back to like old Instagram days of aesthetic grid perfection, and like that was a time, like I'm not talking down about it, like it was a moment, it was a chapter. But I think what is so powerful about like video content is that compared to a photo and caption, it allows us to do exactly what you just described, share more personality, more of the human, more of the quirks and imperfections. And I think that's like the bridge to connection, when either someone else can see themselves in you, or maybe they don't see themselves in you, but they can understand where you're coming from on, maybe running parallel to their own experience. So I'm totally on board with that.
Definitely.
Great, great answer. And I think we're pretty much at our last one. This is the fifth one of ways to build your personal brand on Instagram. And we're going to finish off with Jared. So, Jared, you could take us home on this topic in regards to what would be your second tip.
All right. So I think what I want to express, and it might be more of like a longer sentence than a specific tip, is your personal brand doesn't exist in a vacuum. So there's like a visibility factor that is required. Cause like if you only know your personal brand, like I don't really know if it's actually a personal brand, because I do think it needs to be perceived by others and interacted with. And so that's like, an overarching thing. But within that, I think two more tangible things are not being afraid to like toot your own horn. I think a lot of people feel, oh, I need to be humble. I need to brag. I need to not share this accomplishment or this thing that I'm excited about or this milestone that I reached. And part of your personal brand are the highs, are the things that you've built and are proud of and that you want to share with other people. So like not being afraid to toot your own horn to get visible with those things that you've built and achieved. And then also kind of like mirroring that a little bit is the vulnerability aspect of your personal brand, of your business, of you as a human. A lot of people struggle with vulnerability, and rightly so. It's really challenging. And the question I usually get is, how do I share about myself without sharing too much, without being TMI? And that could be a whole roundtable discussion. So it's a big topic. But I think that if you realize vulnerability isn't an on or off switch and it's more of a dial, and you figure out, do I want to be at a 1? Do I want to be at a 10? And also realizing that there's strategies to vulnerability, like sharing things that are relevant within your niche and expertise versus sharing something completely outside might feel more comfortable to you and might be a good way to dip your toe into the vulnerability pool. So once again, your personal brand doesn't exist in a vacuum, and it involves everything that we've talked about: sharing your thought leadership and hot takes and point of view, sharing your story, the beginning, middle, and end, not being afraid to toot your own horn, and also getting a little bit vulnerable when you feel it's the right time within your own comfort level, but also sometimes maybe pushing yourself out of your comfort level a little bit. So that's my last tip.
Great. I love all of these tips here today. Just to speak on that one a little bit, it's not easy to do what you just stated, because I even as you were talking, there were certain things you said, and I was like, oh, I could relate with that. Like not wanting to boast, or not trying to seem like you're bragging, but you should show what you are proud of, and if it does connect with your audience, with your niche, why not? Because you might be able to not just connect with somebody else in that level, but you might be able to inspire somebody else to get to that level as well. And that's where the moments come where they can connect with you, and they feel your personal branding, and once again, they might spread it. They might say, oh, I love what Jared just stated. I really connected with it. Let me share this with my community as well. And that way your personal brand is now being taken to the next level with other people outside of your normal circle. So well said, ladies. Well said. I That was it. We hit you guys off with 5 amazing ways for you guys to build your personal brand on Instagram. And I don't think any of these ways that you actually have to wait. There's no money involved. You can start all of these tips here today, right now on Instagram. So we do hope that you take what we said and shared here today from our own personal experience and knowledge. And as I always say, step your gram up in the best way possible with what we just shared with you. We are at the end of the main topic for personal branding, but we do like to play a little game here today. Jerry, we like to have a little bit of fun here on the social roundtable. So Megan is going to ask us a couple of questions. I do not know what the questions are, but they're not right. They're not wrong. So we're going to have a little bit of fun for those that are watching. Obviously, if you're watching live, jump into the live chat, share your answer. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and jump into the comments and share your answer as well. We will respond. Megan, the mic is all yours.
Awesome. All right. So simple game of would you rather, going to have 2 rounds of it and 2 options for each to choose from. Would you rather A or B? And we will go around the round table here as well as everyone in the chat. So first, would you rather be known for A, something that's uniquely you and to your brand, or B, just your expertise? Jira.
I think definitely
Question.
A. Yeah, it's easy for me.
Yeah, definitely. Love that. Heston.
I gotta say it's A as well, but I think it's not as easy for some people
Mm.
that really want to focus on that, their business, that's their goal. And I can understand if they decide to go with B. But for me, I'm gonna go with A as well.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. I also feel like something that's uniquely you, you can weave in expertise pretty well. Doing it in
True.
your unique way. But I
Totally.
agree what you said, Heston, that some people are just kind of wanting only the expertise. And I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes very rarely that can work. Very rarely,
Hmm.
but it can work. And there are
Yeah.
people that I follow like that. So I can't see the chat again, Heston. So just yell if I miss anything.
Well, we
Um,
got Angela had shared the question as well. Thank you, Angela. So I didn't see any responses just yet. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but feel free to go to the next one, and if I see anything, I'll read it out.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Second question here. Would you rather write your captions only using emojis or write your captions only using AI? Heston, we'll go with you first.
Oh wow! I didn't expect that last option. I was immediately going to say whatever the last option was, but then you threw that one in. I
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a thing about AI where it's like I really don't like the fact that a lot of people depend on it so much that they take the you out of the equation in a way, So sometimes we come across these things, we read it, we're like, that is so not what the person wrote. We could tell it's AI. So I'm gonna go with emojis, which I've actually done that before in a fun way. Where I don't know if you guys ever seen where they do like, you have to, what is this movie title, but it's only emojis.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
You ever seen that? Yeah, it's fun. Something like
yeah.
that I might consider.
Yeah, that is fun. That would be really hard for a long caption, but I believe in you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And hey, most of the video can convey the message, and then the captions are supplementing. So I could see it working. You can make
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. I feel like I would go with BAI only because I mean, not that I'm an expert by any means, but I feel like I've used it enough, and I use Claude, so I have projects, so I like train it, on my
Mm,
voice and stuff like that.
yeah.
So I feel like I can input enough to get it to a certain place and like prompt it to a certain place where it's not like, oh God, this is just like AI, someone said AI slop the other day. I'm like, yeah, I kind of like that
I
AI
like that.
slop.
That's a good one.
So I feel like I'd have to go with that. Yeah.
Yep, gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is like my chat GPT knows me, knows exactly how I speak with all of my different projects and communication with it. So definitely would do that as well. But I agree with what you said, Heston. Like it's not cool that people are relying on it, and goes back to my tip of making sure that you are, sharing things that sound like your voice.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for playing along, guys.
Yay, that was fun.
Yeah, I see we got a it seemed like most of everybody was in agreement with our answers. For I think it was for the first one, A for unique U, and also for the second question in regards to writing caption. Actually, that's a delay. So we have yeah, no, caption as well for emojis. Yeah, so it seems like the
Emojis.
audience is in agreement with us in regards to that. So thank you guys for tuning in or jumping into the live chat to share your responses. Definitely appreciate that. It's always fun having these questions with Megan. We like to have a little bit of fun as we're, don't want to come off too lectury. This is not just like a college course where it's just giving you the information. We want to have a little bit of fun as well. I just sent out a comment in the live chat for any questions. So I will give you guys a moment. If you guys have any questions, we will answer them. But in the meantime, I would like to give Jera a moment to share where the people can find you, and if you have anything else that you might have upcoming that they might be interested in, please feel free to plug away at anything that you have coming onto your brand.
Awesome. Well, Jared Bean. So there's a dot there. So Jared.Bean on Instagram, on TikTok. I've been trying to work more on LinkedIn these days. So that's a whole new area. I'm on Threads. So, find me on any of those. JaredBean.com is my website. In terms of courses and offerings, the main thing you can buy from me these days is the Video Editing Rodeo, which is a self-paced comprehensive course that teaches the essential skills of short form video content editing. So anything you'd ever want to edit, talking heads, vlogs, transitions, fancy stuff, animations, you can learn it in that course. So that's what I got for you at the moment.
Awesome. And as I said earlier today, guys, if you guys are looking for the link for Jera, that is in the description of this video. So go ahead and check out the link for jerabean.com, correct?
That's right.
Awesome. And as well as the link for your Instagram, as well as everybody else, myself, Megan, and Angela. You can find our links to Instagram and YouTube, respectively, down in the description. I don't see any messages for Q&A, so it seems to be a little bit quiet today, but we're
A
going to
little
take
shy.
that as you guys were full and satisfied with our conversation here today, all about personal branding in regards to how to actually improve it and grow and build it on Instagram. So we thank you guys for joining us today on the latest episode of the Social Roundtable. We were joined by the incredible Jared Bean on this conversation. If you missed any part of it, the live is going to be now, well, live, but recorded. So you can always check back on our channel. Once again, if you are not a member yet, please hit the subscribe button, tap the like button as well so others can find it also. Shout out to our moderator, Angela Vasquez, in the live chat building. She was doing an incredible job. Clap for her. Clap for her.
Yes,
Thank you very
yes.
much, Angela. We appreciate you. Megan, you can please take a moment as well and share with the audience where they can find you and what are you up to.
Definitely. Well, you guys can find me social media with Meg on Instagram, Threads, here on YouTube. I actually am Megan Harriman, not social media with Meg here on YouTube. But if you search social media with Meg, it's in my name. It'll pop up too. So yeah, everywhere you can find me there. And look forward to hanging out with everyone next week.
Awesome. Yes, next week we do have another episode next week, same time, same channel, 12 p.m. Monday Eastern Standard Time. I believe I believe it might be live on my channel, so you can get an idea of what it is. I'm not 100% sure yet, but if not, just slide into the DMs. I am Heston of Social Varsity, social.varsity on Instagram, Social Varsity regular on everything else. Find me on Threads, find me on not TikTok. Find me on where else am I? YouTube, of course, and Instagram. So you can find me there. At the moment, right now, if you guys are interested, as you guys may know, I do specialize in DM automation, and I just opened up an IG subscription where you guys could learn how to use ManyChat and DM automation yourself. And I have it going for the launch offer right now of just $1 per month. So jump on that before it ends. It is a
You
limited
guys want to
time
get in
offer,
there.
so
Like
make sure
it's
you guys
like
jump
That's
in.
amazing.
it's really good. I mean, it's really good. Just saying.
So check out for that. Thank you once again, Jared, for joining us. We really do appreciate your presence here. Hopefully, it's not the last time that you are on the social roundtable with us. We'll definitely have another invite out for you
Heck
to,
yeah. I'd
to
love that.
jump in
Thanks
and
so
have
much for
some more
having me
fun with
on.
us. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We will talk with you guys next week. Later, everybody.
Bye.
And we'll be out in just a matter of seconds. If you guys are still hearing us, that's just what happens in the live.